Shalom, and welcome to Hebrew Bible Secrets with your host, Rabbi Beaton. We are reading today from the book of John, starting at chapter 7. John, chapter 7, verse 1. 1. After these things, Yahshua walked in Galilee, and he would not walk in Yehudah, because the Yehudim, Hebrew people in Judea, sought to kill him. 2. Now the Yehudim, Hebrew people, celebration of Sukkot, tabernacles, was near. 3. His brothers therefore said to him, Depart hence, and go into Yehudah, that your disciples also may see the works that you do. 4. For there is no man that does anything in secret, and he himself seeks to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world. 5. For neither did his brothers believe in him. 6. Then Yahshua said to them, My time has not yet come, but your time is always ready. 7. The world cannot hate you, but me it hates, because I testify of it, that the works there are evil. 8. You go up to this celebration, I go not up to this celebration, for my time is not yet arrived. 9. When he had said these things to them, he abode still in Galilee. 10. But when his brothers were gone up, then went he also up to the Moed celebration, not openly, but as it were in secret. 11. Then the Yehudim sought him at the Moed celebration, and said, Where is he? 12. And there was much complaining among the people concerning him. For some said, He is a good man. Others said, No, but he deceives the people. 13. But no man spoke openly of him for fear of the Yehudim. 14. Now about the midst of the celebration, Yahshua went up into the Abrahamic-Faith temple and taught. 15. And the Yehudim marveled, saying, How does he know his letters, having never learned? 16. Yahshua answered them and said, My teaching is not mine, but his that sent me. 17. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the teaching, whether it is of Elohim or whether I speak of myself. 18. He that speaks of himself seeks his own glory, but he that seeks his glory that sent him, the same is true, and no unrighteousness is in him. 19. Did not Musa give you the Torah, and yet none of you keeps the Torah? Why do you go about to kill me? 20. The people answered and said, You have a demon who goes about to kill you. 21. Yahshua answered and said to them, I have done one work, and you all marvel. 22. Musa, therefore, gave to you circumcision, not because it is of Musa, but of the Av, fathers, and you on the Sabbath day circumcise a man. 23. If a man on the Sabbath day receives circumcision, that the Torah of Musa, should not be broken. Are you angry at me because I have made a man whole on the Sabbath day? 24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteousness, judgment. 25. Then said some of them of Jerusalem, Is not this he whom they seek to kill? 26. But lo, he speaks boldly, and they say nothing to him. Do the rulers know indeed that this is the very Messiah? 27. But we know this man, where he is. But when Messiah comes, no man knows where he is. 28. Then cried Yahshua in the Abrahamic-Faith temple, as he taught, saying, You both know me, and you know where I am, and I have not come of myself, but he that sent me is true, whom you know not. 29. But I know him, for I am from him, and he has sent me. 30. Then they sought to take him, but no man laid hands on him, because his hour was not yet come. 31. And many of the people believed on him, and said, when Messiah comes, will he do more miracles than these, which this man has done? 32. The Pharisees heard that the people complained such things concerning him, and the Pharisees and the chief Kohanim sent officers to take him. 33. Then said Yeshua to them, yet a little while I am with you, and then I go to him that sent me. 34. You shall seek me, and shall not find me, and where I am, there you cannot come. 35. Then said the Yehudim among themselves, where will he go, that we shall not find him? Among the Greeks, and teach the Gentiles. 36. What manner of saying is that he said, you shall seek me, and shall not find me, and where I am, there you cannot come. 37. In the last day, that great day of celebration, Yeshua stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come to me and drink. 38. He that believed on me, as the scrolls has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living Mayim water. 39. But this spoke he of the Ruach, set apart spirit, which they that believed on him should receive. For the Ruach, set apart spirit, was not yet given, because that Yeshua was not yet esteemed. 40. Of that of the crowd of people, therefore, when they heard this saying, said, of a truth, this is the prophet. 41. Others said, this is the Messiah. But some said, shall Messiah come out of Galilee? 42. Has not yet the scrolls said that Messiah comes to the seed of David, and out of the town of Beth-Lechem, house of bread, and house of meat, where David was? 43. So there was a division among the people because of him. 44. And some of them would have taken him, but no man laid hands on him. 45. Then came the officers to the chief Kohanim and Pharisees, and they said to them, why have you not brought him? 46. The officers answered, no man spoke like this man. 47. The Pharisees answered, then are you also deceived? 48. Have any of the rulers or of the Pharisees believed on him? 49. But these rebels, who know not the Torah, are cursed. 50. Nicodemus said to them, he that came to Yeshua by night, being one of them. 51. Does our Torah judge any man before it hears him, and know what he has done? 52. They answered and said to him, are you also of Galilee? Search and look, for out of Galilee arises no prophet. 53. And every man went to his own house. Okay, so that now brings us to the end of chapter 7. So let's go back and have a look at some of the footnotes in John chapter 7. So the first footnote we have is in verse 2. Now the Yehudim, Hebrew people, celebration of Sukkot, tabernacles, was near. So let's have a look at this, was near. So we have here, note, the Kag, celebration of the Hebrew or Yehudim, means the religious center established in Jerusalem, such as the temple. Hence, why the writer gives it the flavor of Kag, celebration of the Yehudim. Note, the Galileans did not want to kill Yeshua. They were also Jews, but some Jews in Judea did such as the Zealots from the school of Shema. Okay. So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 5. For neither did his brothers believe in him. Okay, let's have a look at this. So Miriam did not remain a virgin after the death of Joseph. She was married to his brother Cleopas, producing 4 sons. Okay, let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 15. And the Yehudim marveled, saying, how does he know this letter, having never learned? Okay, so let's have a look at this. It was common custom to go to yeshivas to learn. We do not know who Yeshua's Rabbi was, although he too would have gone to a yeshiva. So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 17. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the teaching. So let's have a look at this. He shall know of the teaching. So those people willing to obey Torah will be rightly guided by the scriptures, while those who do not want to obey will always find an excuse. The Father's will is for all of us to be his light and obey Torah, to show his works in our life. Okay? So keep the commandments. That's what the Father wants us to do, to be the light. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 19. Did not Moshe, Musa, give you the Torah, and yet none of you keeps the Torah? So let's have a look at this. None of you keeps the Torah. So this is a direct challenge that none of these people confronting him here were keeping the written Torah of Moses. This is the same story in Christendom. They keep man-made traditions and church doctrines that have no basis in scriptures. The rapture is one of them. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. So let's have a look at this. So righteous judgment can only happen when we walk in the Torah and set that as our standard bearer for Yahweh's law. Okay. So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 27. But we know this man, where he is. But when Messiah comes, no man knows where he is. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Bavli, Sanhedrin, 97a. Israel had neither supporter nor helper, even as Zerah, who, whenever he chanced upon scholars engaged thereon, i.e., in calculating the time of the Messiah's coming, would say to them, I beg of you, do not postpone it, for it has been taught. 3 come unawares: Messiah, a found article, and a scorpion. It was taught by some rabbis that Messiah would come when we are unaware. Yeshua is the Messiah. Apparently the Tanakh passages like Malachi 3:1 and Daniel 9:25 were interpreted by some as indicating a sudden appearance of Messiah. We need to understand that this was not a universal view, as Judaism was splintered into many different sects in the first century, with each having a different interpretation of scriptures. Today, the many denominations of churches are in no better state, still holding to misinterpretations of scripture. Okay, so let's have a quick look at Malachi 3:1 and Daniel 9:25. So it's Malachi 3:1, and it reads, Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the master whom you seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the Malach of the covenant, whom you delighted. Behold, he shall come, says Yahweh of armies. Okay, so there's no footnotes there, so let's go to Daniel 9:25. So Daniel 9:25, and it reads, Know therefore and understand that from the time going forth of the word to restore and to build Jerusalem to an anointed one, the prince shall be 7 weeks and 62. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. Okay, so we've got a footnote here for anointed one. So let's have a look at this. So the text has no definite article of the. The King James Version translators inserted this. This can only apply to Jesus. Okay, so that was inserted, and it can only apply to Jesus. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 28. Then cried Yahshua in the Beth Hamikdash temple, as he taught, saying, You both know me, and you know where I am, and I have not come of myself, but he that sent me is true, whom you know not. Okay, so that's something else, whom you know not. So we have here, they were religious, wearing the white clothes, but not Torah observant. The same is true of the clergy in the churches. They are religious, but little do they know the Torah, and they certainly do not know the Father in heaven. They only know of something called Judaism, but they have no real knowledge of it or how to practice it. It's time for these religious people to go back to the older brother, Judah, to learn what real biblical Judaism is all about and how to keep it. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 34. You shall seek me and shall not find me, and where I am, there you cannot come. So let's have a look at this. So that means even at death, even if you are saved, you go to a place called paradise in Sheol until the return of Messiah. Okay? So Sheol is a place where the souls go. So those who've been keeping the commandments will go to Sheol, paradise Sheol. Okay? And wait there until Messiah comes. So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 35. Then said the Yehudim among themselves, Where will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go to the dispersed among the Greeks? So let's have a look at this, dispersed among the Greeks. It was accepted that Messiah would gather the exiles that were scattered, calling themselves Gentiles. Okay, and we have a continuation. And teach the Gentiles. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So the Pharisees knew that the scattered 10 tribes were in the regions near Israel, such as Greece and other places, which Paulus visited. Okay, let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 37. In the last day, that great day of celebration. Okay, so in the last day, let's have a look at this. So the day known as Shemini, Atzeret, and Simchat Torah, the great day or the joy of our Torah. This is the time when in the future it will bring about all restoration of Israel. Okay? So this is obviously the time when the Father gathers his people to bring them back to the land Israel. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 38. He that believes on me, as the scrolls has said, Out of his belly shall flow rivers of living Mayim water. So let's have a look at this. So we have here quoting Isaiah 44:3 and Zechariah 14:8. So let's have a look at Isaiah 44:3. So Isaiah 44:3, and it reads, "For I will pour Mayim upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my Ruach spirit upon your seed, and my increase upon your offspring." Okay, so we have a footnote here for offspring. So it has here, read during Sukkot Tabernacles, the Feast of Tabernacles, on the last day of the Chap, the celebration. Yahweh has already redeemed Israel. So we see the fulfillment. Okay? So that's one thing we read on the Sukkot Tabernacles on the last day of the celebration. Okay, so let's have a look at Zechariah 14:8. So Zechariah 14:8, and it reads, "And it shall be in that day that living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them towards the former sea, and half of them towards the hinder sea, in summer and in winter. Shall it be?" Okay, so we have a footnote for "shall it be," and it reads, "A river will open from Jerusalem and flow to the Dead Sea, making it alive." Okay, so that is yet future. So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 41. "Others said, 'This is the Messiah,' but some said, 'Shall Messiah come out of Galilee?'" So let's have a look at this. So many confused him with Galilean, while they did not realize he was brought up in the north, but born in the south, Bethlehem. Okay, so he's brought up in the north, but born in the south, in Bethlehem. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 42. "Has not the scroll said that Messiah comes of the seed of David, and out of the town of Bethlehem, house of bread and house of meat, where David was?" Okay, so let's have a look at this, where David was. So we have here quoting Micah 5:2. So let's have a look at that quickly. So Micah 5:2, and it reads, "But you, Bethlehem, Ephratah, though you be the least among the thousands of Yehudah, yet out of you shall he come forth to me, that is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from ancient days, from everlasting." Okay, so we have two footnotes here. So Bethlehem, so let's have a look at this first. According to Eder Sheim, in the life and times of Jesus, the Messiah, in Book 2, Chapter 6, this Migdal Eder was not the watchtower for the ordinary flocks that pastured on the barren sheep ground beyond Bethlehem, but it lay close to the town on the road to Jerusalem. A passage from the Mishnah leads to the conclusion that the flocks which pastured there were destined for temple sacrifices. Shekelim 7:4. In addition, Migdal Eder is also mentioned by the Targums. Thus, Targum Yonatan, cited by Rabbi Monk, paraphrases Genesis 35:23 and Micah 4 and 8. He spread his tent beyond Migdal Eder, the place where King Messiah will reveal himself at the end of days. Migdal Eder was the watchtower that guarded the temple flocks, those who were being raised to serve as sacrificial animals in the temple. These were not just any flock and herd. The shepherds who kept them were men who were specifically trained for this royal task. They were educated in what an animal that was to be sacrificed had to be, and it was their job to make sure that none of the animals were hurt, damaged, or blemished. We also have here the Messiah Yahshua, born in Bethlehem, the least of the cities. Many argue this is of some past king like King David, and they play with the Hebrew word olam to mean something other than everlasting. Matthew, the Levite, gives evidence to suggest the prophecy was fulfilled through Yahshua in Matthew 1:22. Okay, so for more understanding, read Matthew 1:22 and Genesis 35:23. So we have another footnote here, whose goings forth have been from ancient days. Okay, from everlasting. So let's have a look at that, ancient days. So we have here the word quidem means from the east also. So this is a hint of the Messiah for having an ancient past. He will enter the temple above as king from the eastern gate, the temple in the heaven. Okay? So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 49. But these rebels who know not the Torah are cursed. So let's have a look at this. So this is a derogatory remark to the people. It was true that disobeying the Torah was a curse, but knowing not the Torah was never mentioned as a curse. But some of the Pharisees applied it literally. The ones under punishment would be the Pharisees for not teaching Torah, and likewise the ones who will receive punishment from Yahweh will be the church pastors and deacons and bishops who did not teach the people how to follow and obey the written Torah. Okay? So that now brings us to the end of John chapter 7. So I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the other side. This is Rabbi Beaton saying thank you for watching, and shalom shalom. Baruch Shem, Kivod, Malkuto, Leolam, Va'ed. And never be the name of his esteemed kingdom, forever and ever and ever. Amen.